Welcome to Love You Bro podcast. I am your host, Jude Jamie, and as I get to do it every week, I do it with my baby brother.
What is up, my brother?
What's up, man?
How are you, man?
Hey, man, we're shooting a special episode tonight. First off, we want to thank our host, our gracious host, Keith Connell, for letting us into his man cave to shoot our show tonight. And we've got a lot of special guests to bring on. But, Jamie, tonight we're doing a little in honor of our man Bill Maas getting inducted into the Hall of the Chiefs, into the Ring of Honor. So, Billy, thank you for coming on today.
Guys, thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
Great place too, Keith.
Yeah, this place is amazing.
This
place. I'll be back, Keith. I'll probably be back tomorrow night. Let's watch a movie or something.
Keith,
there you go. No, I will be.
Keith, we appreciate you having us on here tonight, and we also want to welcome right now, sitting with us here, Duron Cherry. Duron, lifetime chiefer, and we thank you for coming on.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Two of my buddy here.
Absolutely. Two of the best to ever do it. You guys, not just on the field, but what you guys have done off the field and what you guys done in our community has been just such, you guys are such great leaders and ambassadors for these younger guys on these teams and rosters. They need to take some note of what you guys do off the field as well as what you guys have done on the field.
Amen.
It's a different deal now. You know, back when we first came in, I mean, part of the thing was you had to be a part of the community.
That's right.
We had to buy a house in Kansas City and live in Kansas. It was part of our contract back then.
Oh, wow. Year round? So you couldn't have
they wanted us to live in Kansas City, and they wanted us to spend time in the community and spend our money here in Kansas City.
And a lot of the guys did. That was the thing. Most people took pride in the fact that this community was special. So a lot of guys had their own charities and were putting together, a number of different things, opportunities to work with the community and be ambassadors for the club. So it worked out extremely well. And I think of any team in the National Football League, I think the Chiefs at our time, during that period of time, probably had more players involved in charitable activities than any other team in the league.
That says a lot. That's all. I mean, that's fantastic.
I mean, even in the lean years, we'd have the food drives, we'd have the canned food, collection. We'd go out and Crime Stoppers, and all the things we do with the local municipalities and the local police enforcement. It was pretty cool.
But it's continued too. So I mean, I've had my foundation for going on 34 years now, and this community has supported our foundation in a major way, and they've done it with a lot of other players too as well. So not to mention we have a great group of Chiefs ambassadors that work alongside the club, and we do a lot of things in the community. We're giving away, I can't tell you, Bill, what do you think? Hundreds of thousands of dollars in every year to help support our community. So it's been a great family, this Chiefs Kingdom.
Yeah. And that's 50-some players, former players that live here in Kansas City.
That's awesome.
That's pretty big.
That's really cool. When is your guys' reunion weekend? Do you guys have one that's like it's every year that you guys, that all the players try to come back? Generations
oh, yeah. It's actually the Hall of Fame weekend.
Oh, there we go.
So it's our buddy that's getting inducted. Most
long
of the guys,
overdue too, if I may say.
A lot of his former teammates, a lot of my former teammates, a lot of guys are coming back in town for this special moment. So
December 7th game, correct? December 7th, Houston Texans game.
Houston Texans.
Guys, let's talk a little bit about your guys' defense back in the day, because I know, Duron, we've talked to Bill before. Our family's been lifelong season ticket holders. Our dad started our season tickets in 1965, so we've been blessed. When I tell some of these younger kids that we work with that I grew up inside that stadium, we grew up inside there, it's the truth. And we got a chance to watch, like I said, some of your great defenses that you guys had. Tell us a little bit about some of the guys you guys played with. Wow. I know that secondary was nasty that you had back in the day, Duron, but tell us about some of the guys you guys played with back in your time.
And real quick, how many years did you guys play together?
Well, I came in 81, and he was here. You were 82?
84. But we were there for, 6 years together?
Yeah, okay. 6 years.
So you were done in 91?
91.
Yeah.
Was my last year.
So you guys had 6 years together?
Yeah.
6 years.
So talk a little bit about some of the defenses you guys had, because I know during those years the offensive side was lean, but man, you guys had a defense that didn't give up a lot of points.
Well, defense always starts up front. So when you think about it, we had Mike Bell, Art Still, who I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. It's a crime, really, literally. I always say this: if Howie Long's in the Hall of Fame, Art Still should be there 10 times more so than him.
And Big Art was what? He was 6'7", right? So he was a long,
Big
lean
Art.
DN. Like he was a long, lean DN at that time. And
but he was. I mean, when you put the film on him and watched him, it was amazing to see what he.
We would, you know, we had a away game. We come home on the back of the plane. We're talking. Hey, how do you think you played? Well, I think I had like 2 or 3 tackles, and I had a sack and a half maybe. And Mike would tell me his doing. Gary Spaney would say, we go in and watch the film the next day. Art would have like 12 tackles, 2 sacks. And, I mean, he was like stealth mode. You wouldn't even really notice, but he was just all over the field.
And he was getting double and triple teams. So
I mean, and for a guy like him too, for us to play in a 34 defense, skinny thighs, skinny butt guys in a 3-4, never should have been playing in a 3-4. Never should have been, right? And but to go back to your question, those defenses, I tell people all the time, we were putting up numbers when they didn't even throw the football. Ron Cherry went to Pro Bowl almost every year, 6 times in a row.
Right.
Making interceptions when they hardly threw the ball. You know why? 2 things. It used to be a run-first deal back then. It was just run. But the biggest thing was the other team was usually ahead, so they even ran more. They never threw.
That's right.
They never threw the ball. That's what the point. Just keep handing it off. And you take those guys, and we'd have some down years, 6 and 10 or something like that. And here you got all the guys in secondary are going to the Pro Bowl. Art's going to the Pro Bowl. I went to the Pro Bowl. I mean, it was just like it was amazing.
We had one year there was
we represented that much on.
Let me ask you this: was there any ever discontent towards the offense between you guys when you guys were like balling out and holding teams in your offenses going 3 and out?
I think the only discontent was in training camp.
Going against each other.
Oh yeah. We used to Brad Buddy, the story of Brad Buddy.
Come on, tell that story. Tell us that Brad Buddy story.
Oh man,
I went from the first time I got here. I mean, we were at mini camp, and we didn't have shoulder pads on or nothing. We didn't have no pads. We had helmets, and then we had to line up and go against the offense. And Brad came and just like chucked me, and then Art's like, "Hey, Boogie," called Mike Bell. Hey, Boogie, yeah, we forgot to tell Cuz about Brad, man. We tell him about Brad.
Tell him about Brad.
And Brad was one of those guys you like to get the last shot in all the time. Right? Well, that didn't last too long.
No, I guarantee that.
So we're at training camp one day, and we're in practice. Now, back then it was, 2-a-days. You're practicing 2.5, 3 hours, full pads. It's hotter than you know what. And Brad decides he wants the cheap shot. Lloyd Burrs, who was our safety, right?
Number 34.
And that was, Lloyd, I mean, when you talk about professionalism and a guy that everybody liked on the team.
You don't do that to Lloyd.
You don't do it to Lloyd. And I guarantee you. So when he did that, I go, oh, no, it's about to go down. And sure enough, they break the huddle, and the play is being run. Nobody went for the play. 11 guys went and jumped on Brad Buddy and kicked his, what.
Oh, wow.
And it created a fight, but I'm telling you, you got to stand up for your guys.
Sure,
and we stood up for our guys, but he was always the instigator.
Yeah. And Bill, I remember hearing when because obviously you played at what was probably one of the most talented college football teams in the history of college football, which a lot of people have recently said it was the Alabama of today. I mean, your defense alone. I mean, you had Hugh Green, and who should have been in the Hall of Fame had he not gone to his knee. Ricky Jackson, who was a guy, and then offensively,
he's in the Hall of Fame.
You have 2 guys offensively on the offensive line that you got to go against every day with big Colbert, and Frelick, and Russ Grimm. I mean, you had some absolute monsters. Mark May, who's a college Hall of Famer.
Jim Sweeney was the center.
So when you got to I imagine, and you guys had obviously incredible seasons. You guys lost your junior year or your sophomore year, in the Sugar Bowl, right?
We won we beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl on that Marino last second touchdown. We lost one game that year to Florida State. It was early in the season. It was down there in humidity. It was raining.
That team, I can't imagine when you went to Kansas City and you're like, holy shit, I'm going against these guys every day, and now I'm going against this offensive line. It must have felt like junior high because you were going against those guys every day. And how did that sharpen your craft? And every day in practice that you were going out, that you were going against those guys.
Well, I was really surprised when I got here. It was, I didn't say anything, but I was just surprised, and it didn't just stop there. Like there was a lot of teams I played against my rookie year in the NFL that you had heard about, and guys were telling me, hey, they're pretty good. This guard's good, or this center's really good, and it really wasn't for me because I had that experience already.
Sure. Which is incredible. And those, a little bit about those Pitts teams, those were, phenomenal. You talk about, Danny Marino, that offensive line, the defense. You had the kid that he was a first-round corner that went to San Francisco.
Yeah, Carlton Williamson went there. Tim Lewis went in first round to Green Bay. Randy McMillan was a first-round running back that went to the Colts.
And you had guys like that were not playing that played in the NFL because you guys were so stacked. Yeah. So stacked. And I remember hearing a hilarious story when you guys were there that – you thought you might get sent home because you and Frelick got in some trouble, and you were like, my parents were on a plane coming to see me, and it was the wrong bill.
Yeah, they did. We were down
at the wrong bill. I was like, holy shit! Your parents are on a plane, and your family's on the plane, and you're like, I'm getting sent home.
Yeah. So we were at the Sugar Bowl, and we went down there early. We were playing Georgia, and we were, Jackie had really no rules. He let you go, but it was Christmas Eve, and I went to a pool hall and played some pool with some of my guys, my buddies, and we went done. We came home and went to bed, and in the morning, our deputies are banging on my door saying, "Bill, hey, Jackie needs to see you." I said, "Okay, guys, what's wrong?" He says, "Billy, what happened here last night?" I said, "What do you mean?"
So you're like, what are you talking about?
I said, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
So he goes, "Jackie's upset, man." So I go in, and Jackie's telling me, I'm like, "Moss man, son, I'm sending you home. Calling your mama and daddy." I'm like, "Coach, what's going on?" He said, "Don't tell me that." Well, the layout of the hotel was, this corner room, my roommate was Ron Killen, and it was Bill and Ron, and then this room over here was Bill and Ron Sams and Bill Frelick. The incident occurred in their room, but they got the people that went to the police and got they got the two rooms mixed up.
You're like, what?
I'm like, Coach, man, my mom and dad just landed like this morning.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah.
You figure it out?
Yeah, they finally figured it out. Ask Jackie about that when you can see him.
Yeah. So you guys then when you got here, it was obviously, like you said, you were surprised because how probably inconsistent the offensive line was, to be polite, and what you were going against. But how did that help shape your career coming from there, as talented as was, guys all around the league, and then getting there and taking on a role like you were the defensive rookie of the year, your year, right?
And that's part of it, going against those guys back at the University of Pittsburgh all the time. And Jackie Sherrill is one of the guys that's going to be speaking on my behalf at our ceremony.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so and he's just that guy. And I called him up and I asked him if he would do that, and because they asked me to bring 3 people, and he said, "My son, I'd walk there for that." He did.
That's awesome.
And
awesome.
but he saw something in me at a young age that I didn't know. I was there. I didn't see, but he saw it, and I that's why I'm so active in the community with like Big Brothers Big Sisters and things that help kids.
Right.
I always had a coach. There was always a coach. You have your parents, and all of a sudden you're coaches. Then you have coaches in college, and you have student teachers that are helping you through class, and then you get to the pros. You have coaches you talk to and you're with every single day. They're the ones that I got so much respect for it and helped me along the way to get to be the best that I could be.
Sure. And Coach Sherrill, on your visit, it was late right around when the Steelers won the Super Bowl.
He was strategic.
He brought you, Herschel, Chris Carter, Chris Dolman, all in that recruiting visit. And that had to be special, right?
Yeah. He had it down.
Yeah,
and the Steelers were playing the Rams in the Super Bowl on that weekend, and I went up to Pittsburgh, and they just rolled out the carpet for us and did everything, and it was pretty unique. And they had Marino. He was a year ahead of me, and he's like, "Dude, you have to come here. You have to come here." Right. So he was around all weekend, and it just made it go. So, and we really didn't know. And then, all those guys at that age, at a young age, and then I'm telling you, like 6 years later, we're all in Hawaii together at the Pro Bowl.
Oh my God,
it was like homecoming week.
Yeah. Ask him about the pay cut he had to take when he got to Kansas City.
Hey, that's a whole other conversation, huh, Bill?
Yeah. It's not true now because it was just a different form of nil. The NIL money.
So Deron, tell us. So you were already in Kansas City when Billy got here.
Oh yeah.
Tell us what your thoughts were and some of the guys on the defense when we draft Bill Maas. He comes to this defense. What was the conversation in the locker room amongst the veterans that were already there?
Well, it was a great conversation because, we had a guy that was a first-round draft pick that was going to be the anchor to the middle of our defense, and you're looking at 2 All-Pros on each side of him. Mike Bell played like an All-Pro, Art Still,
right.
And then you had Gary Spaney in the middle as a linebacker who was basically playing at an All-Pro level.
Right.
So when you got guys like that, and then you add the secondary piece to it, which came along, between Albert Lewis, myself, Lloyd Burris, and Kevin Ross eventually. Our defense was stacked. There's no question about it.
And that year, '84, it wasn't just me that came in there. Rock took over.
Yeah, Kevin Ross.
It was a 7th-round draft choice.
Yep.
So you're getting 2. Adding to that defense, it was already really good.
That came in starting the first year.
I just don't know many cornerbacks.
First game.
I don't know too many cornerbacks I ever remember like Kevin Ross that would come up on a run play and take on a lineman. And that guy, the bigger the better for him. And he was not a very big guy.
The hit that I remember most that Rock put on was Pete Johnson, Cincinnati.
Big Pete.
And he laid Pete out. Now, Kevin couldn't
Pete was
weigh
like
more
260
than
then, too.
160
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Pete Johnson was 260. Like you were talking about earlier, the NFL at that time, it was a running backs game. They were all big running backs back then. So when you're talking about a guy like Pete Johnson, 260 pounds, he probably was 5'9", so he was and Kevin came up there, and the first thing that hit on Pete was his shoulder pads on the backside of him.
Oh wow!
Rock had hit him so hard, and you knew that when you saw that. You don't mess around with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Big Pete was Icky Woods before Icky Woods.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's what you guys. What was the so when you got to the league, obviously, and is it something like Raiders rivalry that it's just like what that means? And Billy, did you get that right away when you came in, and it was like Raider week and what that meant? And obviously, then they were that was the. That was kind of the swag of the league, the skull and crossbones of silver and black, and they with the guys that they had before, but they would come in and not defensively push us around, but they would try to muck it up and get nasty, and it was adding a piece like you, which didn't bullshit. You wanted that action, you wanted that smoke, but what did that rivalry mean, and what did it? Is it something, Deron, when the young kids come in for their first time, of what it means, or is it just go without saying?
Well, that rivalry was, when my rookie year, you knew about the Raiders. That was it. And plus, I grew up watching, I grew up in New Jersey, Bills on the East Coast. You see the late games. So you're seeing Kansas City and the Raiders. Yeah. You're seeing those great games that and you're going, golly, now all of a sudden I'm going to be playing in these games. Yeah. My first game at Arrowhead Stadium was against the Raiders. So you're sitting there and I'm going like, oh, man, there's Cliff Branch, And I'm out there, my first play, he's running down the field on me. Yeah, right. And I'm going like, oh, my God, that's Cliff Branch. Yeah. I got to make a play, and I make a play, and the ref throws a flag on me, and I'm jumping in the ref's face, and Gary Green comes over and grabs me and goes, it's not on you, it's on him. He had pushed off on me, so it was pass interference against him. But, when you think about the Chiefs and Raiders, you think about those great games, those great players. And it was just like, you knew that it was a game that you liked to play the most because they lined up, we lined up. It was no trickery, none of this motion and trying to confuse you and everything. It was like mano y mano. You line up on your guy, you line up on this guy, and then let the chips fall where they are. And so you just knew it was a physical game, and let's face it, there was no love lost between Lamar Hunt and Al Davis.
Yeah. None.
No, they couldn't have been different. You'd see, as a little kid, I remember seeing, Al Davis walking in his white sweatsuit, and his.
Oh, he had the same sweatsuit on.
Yeah,
like 20 years.
Yeah.
He wear the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, you go to any game, you see Al Davis. He have on his white bell bottom with the white jacket with the Raiders symbol on. I mean, that was his mystique.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, was he friendly towards other players from other, like with you guys? Was he friendly?
At times.
At times.
At times. Sometimes. At that time period, though, I mean, they had just won the '82 Super Bowl, and then for my rookie year after that was the '84 Super Bowl. So they had everybody knew who they were.
Sure.
And they took on the personality of their owner. They brought a lot of attention to themselves in an intimidating way. And he would look intimidating. Al, little scrawny Al with that white suit with those glasses, sit on the sideline,
back hair.
staring
With the
at every
shades.
player as they walk by. And he was out on the field as you come by. He just stare at you as you walk by.
Yeah, walk by. He just look at you. The only person I knew that he talked to that he loved was Albert Lewis.
Really?
Yeah, Albert Lewis. He
Well, he
loved
went to play
Albert
for the
Lewis
Raiders later on.
because I'm trying to think of the defensive back that played for the Raiders, Hall of Famer. Went to
Lester.
Grambling. No, went to Grambling. Was Willie? God, he's a Hall of Famer, but went to Grambling and he loved Albert. He wanted actually to draft Albert, and Albert didn't. But Al Davis loved Albert. He wanted to take Albert, and we wound up getting him. And then eventually, after we were there 9 years, then Albert winds up going to.
Talking about Jack?
Not Jack. It'll come to me.
Hey, here tonight at Love You Bro Podcast, I just want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors through our first 55 episodes that have sponsored Love You Bro Podcast, from Jamie, myself, Casey Podcasting Company, our social media team, my wife, Jessica. We just want to say thanks to each and every one of you. Proactive Solutions, Natalie and Dean Thede, you guys have been amazing. Without you guys from day one, this podcast does not come together. It does not let us get to do what we love doing every week, which is bringing content, having fun, bringing guests on and doing all the stuff that we love to do. So thank you guys. Thank you to Lula's Southern Cookhouse. Bradley and Brittany Gilmore, you guys could not be more gracious in hosting our podcast in your awesome event space. If you guys need event space and need to check into it, go to Lula's Southern Cookhouse. Their event space is awesome. Proactive Solutions, thank you guys. And then I'm going to get into a few more of our sponsors for tonight's episode. It's a tribute to Bill Maas getting inducted into the Arrowhead Ring of Honor, into the Hall of Fame. Bill Maas, congratulations to you, brother. It's well-deserved, long overdue. But thank you to our sponsors tonight. We have some great sponsors. One of our main sponsors tonight is Jay Rieger. Andy, thank you so much for everything you guys did for us. The Rieger Straight Bourbon is the bottle that keeps embarrassing the so-called heavyweights. The Kansas City Bourbon and Whiskey Society recently ran a blind tasting, and Rieger beat out the big international names everyone assumes will win with Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare, 10-year finishing behind it. Fred Minnick crowned it the best independently owned bourbon in America this year. And Rob Report even said it might be better than what's coming out of Kentucky. And it is only $30 on the shelf. If you care about quality, this is the bourbon that proves you do not have to overpay to drink the best. So thank you to our guys over at Jay Rieger. They gave us awesome bottles, which we were able to hand out to some of our guests tonight. Bill Maas, Duron Cherry, Ted McKnight, thank you guys for coming on. Tim Grundhard, thank you. Jay Rieger, awesome. Thank you so much for your sponsorship tonight. Also, I need to go in here. Another one of our sponsors for the episode tonight is a good friend of ours, Dr. Jeremy Fry, Dr. Bob Fry over at Fry Orthodontics. I've known them for many, many years. Fry Orthodontics is the orthodontic family Kansas City has trusted since 1977. Dr. Bob Fry, who started that, great guy. They do great things over there at Fry. Jeremy Fry, Dr. Jeremy Fry, took over the practice in 2011. 50,000 smiles perfected, 13 locations from most homes in Kansas City. They're the original Invisalign pioneers that families throughout Kansas City trust. Dr. Bob Fry was one of the alpha testers of Invisalign in 1997, the first to be used here in Kansas City. So we want to say thank you to Fry Orthodontics and what they do over there. My daughter Carly had her braces done there. I did braces. And then Invisalign, the stuff that they do over there, all the locations, we can't thank them enough. So thank you, Dr. Jeremy Fry and Fire Orthodontics, for being our sponsor for tonight. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors for what you guys have done to allow us to produce the first 55 episodes. Stay tuned for more podcasts coming up, more content. We have so many more people coming on that we're super excited about. We're in the works right now with getting Tyron Matthew on, Frank Clark on. We got more Chiefs players coming, college basketball, and everything Kansas City. So thank you to our sponsors. We cannot thank you guys enough. Also, tequila. We had a Reposado and a Blanco that was sent in today by Una Familia Tequila. If you guys have not tried it, go try the Blanco, go try the Reposado. Made in Mexico, but sold here from the hearts here in the Midwest, Una Familia Tequila. Go check it out. Use it in your margaritas. We like to go into Lula's, and when we do our drinks, we do the Una Familia Tequila. So thank you to Andy and to our man Bradley Gilmore over at Lula, part of the Una Familia team. So thank you guys, and to all of our sponsors. Thank you guys so much, and continue to please support Love You Bro Podcast. Welcome back to Love You Bro Podcast. I'm your host, Jude Jamie. Like I said, we got a special show tonight. We want to thank all the guys on set, and we bring again to add another one here, and Mr. Tim Grundhard. Tim, welcome back.
Love you, bro. It's
Love
good
you,
to be
bro.
here. Love you, bros.
Love you
Two
guys.
bros on the couch.
All the bros.
It's good to be here.
Tim, thanks for stopping by and paying a little tribute to our man over here who's going into the Ring of Honor this year, the night of the Houston Texans game. So we're talking a little Bill Maas stories. Hoping maybe you can break down one of your favorite Bill Maas stories.
Oh, I got a lot of Bill Maas stories. Is this? I'm not sure. What kind of audience does this go to?
Everything's open. Everything's open, Timmy.
Everything is open, huh? No, you know what? Duran and Bill and that whole crew of older guys. When I was a young guy, when I came in, were so important to me in becoming a pro. And anybody could get drafted to play in the NFL, but to become a pro is a different thing. And to be a pro at what you're doing, watching film, working out, doing the right things on and off the field, both of these guys were certainly important in my football career to do that. Now, Bill kind of took me under his wing. I think we told the story last time that Bill and I got in a fisticuff after one of the Oklahoma drill battles, and I think he broke your finger on my face. So I don't know who won that battle, but right after that, Bill said, "Hey, listen, come here, kid, come with me." So we did a lot of things together, including skipping the line at lunch, which was the most important thing in Liberty to do. Remember back in the day, it was so hard everybody's waiting in line, and I'd be walking through the kitchen with Bill. And so I felt like I was kind of cool at that time. It's just little things like that, Jude, little things like that do it for you. So.
I think it's important, like your rookie year, I'm sure Duran too, your rookie year is so impressionable. Yeah, you remember those guys' faces and names and the first things to this day. I still remember Art Still, Mike Bell, Gary Spaney, the impact they had, Duran, in that huddle, the guys that were with you, guys that talked to you all the time, after practice, in the locker rooms, working out together. Campers, Duran.
Campers.
What about the campers?
Oh, yeah.
We started off-season training.
Training.
It used to be just go home after the season. You just go home, you come back in July.
Right.
That was it. We started the off-season program.
Yeah. Gary Spaney, even Paul Kaufman. He was playing with Green Bay at the time, and he would come work out with us, and we'd be running that hill over at Arrowhead Stadium and running them stairs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did look a little bit sweaty in the back of that pickup truck with shotguns back in the day. I don't know if you guys heard that story, but during the strike, the scabs were coming in, and Bill and Dino, and were you involved in that one too?
No.
And Paul Kaufman were all sitting in the back of a pickup truck driving by. All the national news was out there, and here's 4 or 5 NFL players with shotguns in the back of the pickup truck pointing at the scabs as they came into the bus. It made national news. So that was the first time that, and then I didn't know Bill Maas from Adam at that time, and I was like, I don't know who that guy is, man, but that's the kind of guy I want to hang around with right there. And lucky I did.
We had gone dove hunting that morning, right? We did. I mean, they told us, like, we didn't know. We're football players. It's like, hey, guys, you have to show up at the picket line. We didn't know what a picket line was. I don't even know what we're doing. Hey, we're going on strike. Strike, what's that? Okay, we'll show up. We went dove hunting that morning. So we're coming. We turn the corner, and they're waving their shotguns. The scab bus wasn't even around. Nobody was around. All the media that was there.
Hold on. This is a podcast and radio. Don't let the facts get away with a good story.
The media and everybody was laughing. They were like, everybody, the guys were cheering. It was funny, right? By the time we get home, CNN, violence erupts in Kansas City. Shotguns brandished up. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, well, I've got you guys on set tonight. We're telling some Bill Maas stories. We're telling some of the old stories about you guys. But I want to know right now, because we have a team right now that's sitting at 5-5. And I know you guys, being the guys that you are, have opinions and stuff. You guys watch all the games and things. I want to get your guys' take on where you guys think the team is right now and some of the stuff going on that you think's
whatever John says, I'm going to agree with.
that's got this team at 5-5.
You know, I thought it would be difficult early in the year because they did have a tough schedule starting out down in Brazil. They had a lot of young players. They're going to have to get acclimated to this team, to the offense, young players that were going to come in. So I knew there was going to be some growing pains early in the season. But it just looks like something was not right. Something was just off. Whether it was, it almost looked like this team, based on all the years of success that they've had, just got tired. That's what it looks like. It doesn't seem like there's that spark, that motivation that we're used to seeing in this football team. And that's what I think has gotten them to 5-5. I mean, when your best players are not playing as well as they should, and those are the guys who are supposed to be the leaders, allowing these young guys to come in and see exactly what it's like, that's frustrating. And to me, when you see players who aren't playing up to their potential, it makes it difficult to win games, especially close games. Like last year, we were 11-0 in one game.
Right, one-score games.
One-score games.
One-score games. And this year, we're 0-5, I guess. Right. So it just goes to show you. And, the league likes to have parity, the way they do the scheduling. Some teams can get off to a good start and then get momentum because of the way the schedule was designed. And the fact that the Chiefs, the kind of schedule that they have or the league has placed on them, for the last 7-8 years, they've had to play the number one schedule.
Right.
That's tough.
Of course.
To get motivated year after year after year to do that. So that's why I'm saying we're looking at a team that just kind of looks just a little bit off, like a little bit tired,
right.
Not really at that level where we're accustomed to seeing them. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, there's obviously something amiss, right?
Yeah, I think that if you look at it, since Patrick Mahomes has been here, they've been to 7 AFC championships in a row.
Correct.
So I was never good at math, but right around 20 to 25 extra games. Right. So that's one thing. You're playing a lot of extra games, so it fits into being tired. Number two, you're always drafting at the bottom, right? So you're not drafting in the top 15, so you're bringing in guys. Some guys are helping, some guys don't. And then number three, I think that just the pressure of being that team that everybody has a bullseye on when they play you. And teams go through this. Look at the LA Dodgers this year. The LA Dodgers, there was about a month and a half when everybody thought, what the hell is wrong with this team? They're terrible. Right. They're not going to do anything. But they got to the playoffs and they showed everybody what they were made of. That's my hope. They just got to get invited to the dance. If they get invited to the dance, they're going to be dangerous. Right. I think if they get invited, they're going to the AFC Championship again, maybe the Super Bowl again. But, man, they've got to start winning some football games. I think they got to win 6 out of 7 because people saying 5 out of 7, well, the tiebreakers are going to get them. So 6 out of 7, that's going to be a tough road to hoe.
Yeah, the other thing is, too, you're right about all that, Tim, 100%, especially the drafting position stuff. I mean, those those guys they pick at 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, they've got to step up. And we really haven't had that out of the first and second rounders over the last few years. The other thing is, too, and I know you guys can attest to this, when you get up into years 9, 10, 11, 12, you just look at things a little bit differently. When you're 32 and, and that guy over there is 22 across the locker room with a whole different generational thing going on there and what they're doing and how they act. And you're dragging around 10 years worth of injuries too, and you feel every single one of them by that time in your career, and it's hard. It's a challenge to get that drive going every single day.
Well, and then you've worked, most of your early career to get paid, right?
Right.
And then once you get paid, is that motivation there?
Right.
That's the thing.
Right?
If you look at your, the solid players, the guys that perform even when they get played, that they're true professionals. That's what Tim talked about, is how are you a pro, right? So when you get to that point, you must feel that pressure that, hey, I've got to perform even better than when I'm getting paid that amount of money. And I think in some cases we're not seeing that.
I was going to say, if you feel like you've been to 7 AFC championship games, is it in that locker room, you guys? Is it something where you're like, you know what, we've been to 5 Super Bowls, we've won 3, like, we're 5-5, like, you're just like, I'm not ready, or no, I'm not ready to go that extra mile or whatever, because you've already been there and you've done that and you've won those games? Or where do you think some of those guys inside the locker room are right now?
We chased it and didn't get it. Even if as fans and as viewers now, we all got a taste of it. I can't imagine getting a taste of it and not wanting another bite. Right? Just on a selfish note, I've been there 7 times. I don't care. I want to go 10 times. I want to keep going.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it from a standpoint, you think about a guy like a Josh Allen that's tasted it, right? Has right on the doorstep, and then it's taken away from him. You think he's not hungry for it? Right. But he doesn't know whether he'll get to that point. It all depends on how the rest of his teammates play.
Right.
And remember, everybody in the AFC especially, they draft to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're bringing in guys to figure out how they're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Their whole offseason is about beating the Kansas City Chiefs. That takes a toll on you as a Chief player, both mentally and physically, because you're, like you said, you got some hungry guys looking to prove that they can go to the Super Bowl. You got some guys who are trying to, make it in the league and do all the little things they need to do to be great. And you got a bunch of guys who've been there, been at the pinnacle. It's hard for us to really talk about it because I mean it's all that's as foreign as speaking Chinese to me. Going to 5 Super Bowls. I mean that's crazy, but
they're everybody's measuring stick.
It's a lot easier to get to the top than to stay at the top. You take a guy like Sean Payton, right? You don't think that he's eaten up with it. He is just saturated with beating the Chiefs. He preaches it and takes a shot every chance he gets when he talks to the media because he's talking to his team when he's saying those things. Right. I mean, he wants that to get in their mind that they can do it. That this is what we want. We want to beat them.
And remember, the Raiders were our big rival. Right. What did Marty do? Marty, every time we played the Raiders, it was Raider Week. It was a different atmosphere, different attitude. That's what teams are doing to the Chiefs now. When they play the Chiefs, it's a different attitude. It's a different. It's a whole different preparation. I still pissed off at Rich Gannon for going over to L.A. or going to the Raiders and telling them what we were doing, because then they realized that, hey, we better pick it up a little bit. And that's what these guys got to understand is, hey, listen, every team is circling this game. Every team when they're done playing, whoever they're playing on Sunday, 10 minutes after their game, their focus is on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they talked a little bit about, I listened to some of the media this week, and they talked a little bit about the locker room being different last week when they saw them after the game. They just felt like there was that kind of punch in the gut of because they thought that was going to be the game that kind of got them over the hump to keep them going forward. I mean, where do we go with that? Where does Patrick go with that this week inside that locker room? Where does Chris Jones go with it inside that locker room this week? What are those guys telling people that they haven't told them the last couple of weeks about this Colts game coming up?
I think they expended a lot of mental energy in that last football game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they play against the Colts. Colts are a good football team. Yes. I mean, they can run the ball better than just about anybody. They got a great offensive line. Their defense is rallying and playing well. That's a great question. Everyone wants to hear, the Chiefs are going to be fired up. They're going to win this game. Yeah, they're going to be pissed off. But the reality is that's the way they were last week, and it didn't pay off. And this may be the first time, John and Bill, that they've had that where they put big time focus on something and didn't get it done.
Right.
We'll see what the leadership does.
Especially coming after a bye week, which usually they're pretty good after a bye week. They really have it together. But I think being home at Arrowhead, that's an advantage. But we haven't played many 12 o'clock noon games at Arrowhead, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would say what Timmy touched on was really important, that the mental side of that thing is a lot tougher than the physical side of it, and how they respond to that, because they put everything into that game to beat them up there, and they came up short. And how can they bounce back? It's we'll see.
Well, the message last week from Chris Jones is, listen, I haven't been playing as well as I want to. This is going to be my game. And he played really, really well. Guess what?
George did too.
Yeah.
They gave a lot of energy out there.
They expended a lot of energy. They cashed in a lot of effort into that football game and didn't get paid off.
Right. So, Bill, tell us about some of the big plans that are coming up as far as your part of your weekend, your induction into the Ring of Honor and the Hall of Fame and stuff. It's been long overdue, but what are big plans, or who do you got coming in? Any special guests coming in?
Oh yeah, my whole life has changed now. My wife does nice things for me. And
I had a rumor that a certain coach was coming in. That's good. It's just a scary dude.
Jackie's coming in.
Yeah. Jackie Sherrill.
We were talking about him in the first segment there. Jackie's coming in. Yeah, and Carl Peterson and Frank Bowl.
Okay.
Going to speak. So a lot of the other coaches are all dead. A lot of teammates too.
Yeah.
So that'll be the alumni. That'll be the alumni weekend. Coming in. Everybody be coming in for that weekend.
Yeah. It'll be cool to see everybody. Yeah. Anytime the guys get together on alumni weekend, whether it be for the college game or the Chiefs here, it's a good time.
Well, will there be some Lloyd Burris and some Albert Lewis sightings that weekend?
I'm hoping that those guys come in. I haven't talked to Albert in a while, but I've talked to Lloyd, and I've talked to Kevin. Well, Kevin won't be here because he's coaching.
I heard
Tampa. Where's
Tampa.
I heard Greg Hill's coming in.
Greg Hill.
You remember Greg?
Yeah, I know Dave Zott's coming in. Frank.
I talked to J.T. Smith, and I was hoping that he would come in. Yeah, old J.T.
I heard
Theotis. I talked to Theotis too.
Right.
What was it? Bill Mesner? What was it? Who was your buddy that?
Meisner.
Is he coming in?
I saw him at Pitt last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You guys have a little wager on the Pitt Notre Dame game?
Yeah, that's a funny story. I texted him right before the game. I said, "Hey, how about a little dinner with the girls? Dinner with the girls on the game." And he texted me back, "You give me 12 points." And I was like,
the points came into play.
Oh yeah, he wanted points. So I said, "Nope, forget about it." But that's always a good game, though.
So, how long were you in the league before you came in, Timmy? So, how long were you been there?
4 years, I think.
Okay,
maybe.
And when Duran, were you on the squad when Timmy came in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I imagine Billy and his reputation being mean, nasty dude. Timmy coming in being mean, nasty. Was that something as a player you're like, I can't wait to see these two guys go at it. I can't wait to see them do the Oklahoma drill. I can't wait to see them because both of you got something to prove. You're like Rook's coming in. I know because you had to know. At that time, who he was. You knew who he was.
I knew who he was.
Yeah, knew who he was.
He didn't know who I was.
I didn't. I really didn't think anything about. I think Marty and those guys had something to good. They probably had night wagers on it or something.
Well, Jonathan Hayes, who is the tight end here, Jay Hayes, his brother, was a coach of mine at Notre Dame. And as soon as I got drafted, I saw him in the complex the next day, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, you're going to be going against Bill Maas every day." And I'm like, "Oh, great." So he goes, "Yeah." He said, "Make sure you strap on that chin strap every day." So I was expecting. I knew it was coming.
Sure.
But Bill didn't know who I was. Yeah. Bill didn't get Bill and most of the veteran guys they don't get to know your name until about halfway through your rookie season.
Yeah,
and then maybe they'll talk to you.
And then you guys befriended each other after breaking your hand on his face, and it's like then you're like, that's my guy. That's my guy. That you guys became close. And, And what was it like playing for Marty as far as like his team? Was he heavy on like team building and team, like you guys hung out together and did stuff together, or just show up in
3 hour practices, bruh?
No,
3-hour practices.
And Bill, I remember hearing a story about Bill saying when he was you were at the Pro Bowl.
Although in training camp, you never knew what Marty was going to show up. There was the party Marty who would go out and dance at the clubs with you and you see him there, or it'd be the Marty that wouldn't say a word to you and be fighting with Carl Peterson. You never sure which one was going to show up.
And I know Billy said when they were at the Pro Bowl and when he was going to get hired, you were like the NFC was like in Hawaiian shirts on the field and doing shit. And you were like Marty had 7. Marty had 7 on 7. Like it was like it was a practice.
Full pads.
Yeah, so
That's crazy. No one does that at the Pro Bowl, right?
And hang on. Do you know what this is for? The winner gets $10,000. The losers get 5.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So he's like,
That's true.
yeah. We did a deal with Marty at one practice where we didn't take our shoulder pads nor our helmets because the NFC were in shorts every single practice of the week, and here we were in full pads every practice. So on Friday, Marcus Allen got everybody together and said, "Leave your pads and your helmet at the stadium," and we sure did. When we got to the field, I mean, that shirt over there is red. Marty's face was redder than that shirt because he was so pissed that we came and didn't have our pads and helmets.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Marty always wanted to win everything he did, whether it was playing checkers or Pro Bowl. But yeah, most of the guys, they lost $5,000 on the golf course, earlier that day. I know Keith Connell, our great host here, I've lost about $5,000 on him over the years playing golf. That's for sure. So, you know what? A lot of these guys, the last thing they want to do, they want to make it a vacation, have a good time. Marty was not into that stuff.
Well, what was some of your favorite Martys? And I remember as a kid hearing him talk. And before a game or in what they would be available to us, you would want to run through a wall. And it was, it got you fired up. And and I knew it was always Broncos week and Raider week. That shit was different. When I heard when it was Raider week, when you entered the building, it felt different than it was if you were playing the Chargers or, New England or the Cardinals or anyone. It was different. And it was the message different and driven that whole week of practice. And
yeah, I mean, he was a worker. I mean, he wasn't a player's coach. I mean, don't misunderstand that. I don't know if he ever had a continuing relationship with any players after the players were gone or they left. He wasn't, a keep in touch guy.
That's crazy.
Or like Jackie Sherrill's been sending me telegrams and phone calls ever since I left or we separated every year. He wasn't that kind of guy. He was a guy that he was going to get it right and he'd get what he wanted out of you, or else he'd find somebody else to do it.
Wow.
But he was, but at least we all knew it.
Sure.
Right.
Right. We understood that.
Sure.
He had his system, and that was his system.
Yeah.
And how great was it to hear, I don't know if you guys were watching the Monday night game, but one of the guys was talking about Brian Schottenheimer, who's coaching now with the Cowboys. He said he hears in his ear from his dad during the game, "Take the points, Brian, take the points." You know what? I can hear Marty saying that. Don't be going for it. The analytics, there was no such analytics with Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah. Did you see Brian talk to the team after the game?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No.
It was total Marty.
Was it?
He's because of the passing of the
Did you say
he went
the sixth sense between your backbone and your breastbone, your heart, man?
He was just like Marty. He went. It just started crying.
Awesome.
Couldn't even talk. Did you see it?
No.
Oh man, I was like, that's Marty right there.
That's right.
Marty would tear up a lot.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would. We're going to wrap up here and we'll come back. If you guys can stick around, give us some more stuff. Thanks, fellas.
Hey, here tonight at Love You Bro Podcast, I just want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors through our first 55 episodes that have sponsored Love You Bro Podcast, from Jamie, myself, Casey Podcasting Company, our social media team, my wife, Jessica. We just want to say thanks to each and every one of you. Proactive Solutions, Natalie and Dean Thede, you guys have been amazing. Without you guys from day one, this podcast does not come together. It does not let us get to do what we love doing every week, which is bringing content, having fun, bringing guests on and doing all the stuff that we love to do. So thank you guys. Thank you to Lula's Southern Cookhouse. Bradley and Brittany Gilmore, you guys could not be more gracious in hosting our podcast in your awesome event space. If you guys need event space and need to check into it, go to Lula's Southern Cookhouse. Their event space is awesome. Proactive Solutions, thank you guys. And then I'm going to get into a few more of our sponsors for tonight's episode. It's a tribute to Bill Maas getting inducted into the Arrowhead Ring of Honor into the Hall of Fame. Bill Maas, congratulations to you, brother. It's well-deserved, long overdue. But thank you to our sponsors tonight. We have some great sponsors. One of our main sponsors tonight is Jay Rieger. Andy, thank you so much for everything you guys did for us. The Rieger Straight Bourbon is the bottle that keeps embarrassing the so-called heavyweights. The Kansas City Bourbon and Whiskey Society recently ran a blind tasting, and Rieger beat out the big international names everyone assumes will win with Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare 10-year finishing behind it. Fred Minnick crowned it the best independently owned bourbon in America this year. And Rob Report even said it might be better than what's coming out of Kentucky. And it is only $30 on the shelf. If you care about quality, this is the bourbon that proves you do not have to overpay to drink the best. So thank you to our guys over at Jay Rieger. They gave us awesome bottles, which we were able to hand out to some of our guests tonight. Bill Moss, Duran Cherry, Ted McKnight, thank you guys for coming on. Tim Grundhard, thank you. Jay Rieger, awesome. Thank you so much for your sponsorship tonight. Also, I need to go in here. Another one of our sponsors for the episode tonight is a good friend of ours, Dr. Jeremy Fry, Dr. Bob Fry over at Fry Orthodontics. I've known them for many, many years. Fry Orthodontics is the orthodontic family Kansas City has trusted since 1977. Dr. Bob Fry, who has started that, great guy. They do great things over there at Fry. Jeremy Fry, Dr. Jeremy Fry, took over the practice in 2011. 50,000 smiles perfected, 13 locations from most homes in Kansas City. They're the original Invisalign pioneers that families throughout Kansas City trust. Dr. Bob Fry was one of the alpha testers of Invisalign in 1997, the first to be used here in Kansas City. So we want to say thank you to Fry Orthodontics and what they do over there. My daughter Carly had her braces done there. I did braces. And then Invisalign, the stuff that they do over there, all the locations, we can't thank them enough. So thank you, Dr. Jeremy Fry and Fry Orthodontics, for being our sponsor for tonight. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors for what you guys have done to allow us to produce the first 55 episodes. Stay tuned for more podcasts coming up, more content. We have so many more people coming on that we're super excited about. We're in the works right now with getting Tyron Matthew on, Frank Clark on. We got more Chiefs players coming, college basketball, and everything Kansas City. So thank you to our sponsors. We cannot thank you guys enough. Also, tequila. We had a Reposado and a Blanco that was sent in today by Una Familia Tequila. If you guys have not tried it, go try the Blanco, go try the Reposado. Made in Mexico, but sold here from the hearts here in the Midwest, Una Familia Tequila. Go check it out. Use it in your margaritas. We like to go into Lula's, and when we do our drinks, we do the Una Familia Tequila. So thank you to Andy and to our man Bradley Gilmore over at Lula, part of the Una Familia team. So thank you guys, and to all of our sponsors. Thank you guys so much, and continue to please support Love You Real Podcast. Welcome back to Keith Connell's Man Cave. Thank you so much, Keith, for being our host tonight on this event.
It's truly my pleasure. Jude and I have been friends for a while here. Dated my daughter for a while. I don't know whether that was a good thing or bad. But anyway, we've been friends for a while, and Jude asked me, and I was more than happy to do it. And we've got a great group of people that you invited here, so really nice. Great crew. Thank you so much, Keith, for, like I said, for hosting this tonight and having all of us on here tonight. Thought we'd fire up a few cigars, and before I go any further, I'm gonna thank one of our main sponsors tonight, which is Jay Rieger. Rieger Straight Bourbon is the bottle that keeps embarrassing the so-called heavyweights. The Kansas City Bourbon and Whiskey Society recently ran a blind tasting, and Rieger beat out the big international names everyone assumes will win. With Eagle Rare 10-year finishing behind it,
Fred Minnick crowned it the best independently owned bourbon in America this year, and Rob Report even said it might be better than what's coming out of Kentucky. And it's only $30 on the shelf. If you care about quality, this is the bourbon that proves you do have to overpay to drink the best. So to Jay Rieger and Andy Rieger over there, thank you so much for being one of our big sponsors tonight and throwing out some bourbon for us. And we got some other drinks. Hey, look at this one here, Keith, because I know you're a big Missouri Tiger fan. These are some of the other cocktails and stuff that they're working up over there at Jay Rieger. This is the Como cocktail. So you can keep all these because, I want to drink this shit.
Yeah, I'm going to be all over that stuff. I'm going to be all over that stuff.
I'm not drinking that, Keith. But look, I'll leave a few of these behind for you, though. They even make the Kansas Jayhawk one, the Kansas Cooler. So I'll leave you some of those.
That's nice. We'll leave them in the bathroom for people that want to use them.
Hey, Keith, again, thank you so much for hosting us tonight, doing this. This is an honor, you guys. We've known a lot of these guys in this room for a long time. And like I said, the things that the guys like Duron Cherry, Ted McKnight, and Bill Maas have done on the field, it's what you guys have done off the field and staying a part of this community. I've known Teddy, we've known Teddy for years. Like I said, my dad started tickets back in 1965. But you know this, Keith, all these guys that have their businesses and their lives and have raised their kids in Kansas City. To me, that's the neatest thing that you guys have done. Awesome to see what you guys do on the field. We love seeing you guys on Sundays. But the fact that you guys raise your families and stuff here in Kansas City and everything you've done, I think is great to show some of these younger kids. And I think, seeing 15 and 87 kind of invest back in the community, hopefully more of these young guys will do that because it is such a great city.
I agree with that 100%. I was just telling Ted a minute ago, when the Chiefs moved to Kansas City, my father bought season tickets. So we've always had tickets for the Chiefs. And it's anything that came to Kansas City, the Big 12 tournament, the Big 8 tournament. It was a Christmas tournament when it started. And, it was just like Kansas City's just I was born in St. Louis, but we moved here when I wasn't even a year old yet. And so I've been in Kansas City forever. I love Kansas City. And I think it's out of any cities that you go to, the people here are great. In fact, we were at I took some guys down to the Ole Miss Missouri game, the first time they played them in the SEC. So I got a plane and I went down there, and I had Kenny Thomas with me, God bless him, and I had some customers. And after the game, Archie Manning was in the airport, and everybody was waiting for their hour stand up for their pilot so they could take off. And I told these customers, mind you guys want to meet Archie Manning? Because he'd always come to our suite because Kenny Thomas and him were classmates.
Okay.
And buddies at Ole Miss. Like we're at the Chiefs game. First time I think Peyton was playing for the Colts, and they're sitting we had this outdoor suite on the 50-yard line, me and Garozzo and Alan Caviar and a couple other guys. And he's going, Archie. I said, Kenny, leave him alone, So he comes back there, and Kenny goes, no, he says, I talk to him every other week, and he told me that, I'm rambling on it, but down there at the Ole Miss game, I asked him if he was coming to the Denver game. And he says, Keith, I don't go to away games anymore. I said, every game's an away game for you. You live in New Orleans.
Right.
He says, but I will tell you this. The Kansas City fans and atmosphere is the best in the NFL. And that's a huge testament to what these guys have done. And it's not just about the game. It's just about the attitude at the stadium and the attitude and what these guys have done for the community, and it's a really that's pretty impressive to me for him to say that.
Well, I think once everybody got here, you understand, and I think it's grown to a point now where the world understands now. I think we've been on Front Street for some time, and people have accepted us and understand that this is a great place.
Yeah. I think, Bill, once the soccer tournament gets here, we really will be showcasing Kansas City. Everybody will then get an idea that Kansas City is in itself a hidden jewel. in that it's very cosmopolitan. It's got the new tram system in. It's got all the major sports, so it puts us in the league as any other community of being big time from an athletic standpoint. And I think that we're going to get significant pub when this event takes place, and a lot of exposure to everything that goes on in Kansas City.
Teddy, tell us a little bit about your time. You were a few years ahead of Duran and Bill, correct? What were your years that you were here in Kansas City?
I came here and my quarterback was Moses. And Jesus was the running back and I was the fullback. But no, I came here from the Raiders. I started out second round draft pick with the Raiders and basically had made the team, but they had a number of injuries one of the running backs became kind of expendable, and that was me. And I ended up coming to Kansas City. My exposure to it, after I just gave it this wonderful introduction, was the opposite. When I finally got here, the airport was way out there in no man's land, and you came through that area, and there was nothing. And I'm wondering, where in the heck is this guy taking me? We get down, he says, let me show you this thing that we call the plaza. It's our Rodeo Drive. Went down there. I remember the date, September 13th, 1977. It was the day after that flood. Cars are in the Brush Creek. Oh, wow. They have water lines up where the water had come in. And I'm looking at this going, this is your Rodeo Drive? Holy cow, this is really something else. So then I go in for training or to the doctor's office, and they said, okay, we're going to put you in the Adams Mart Hotel across the street. So I get over there, and I'm trying to think about Kansas City. What do I know about Kansas City? Well, that's when we had the old paper maps. So I get a map, and I'm looking at it, and I basically burst into tears. And I called my mother, and I said, I don't know what I did wrong. I said, but they've got me in this place called Kansas City. And I said, they're so ass backwards. They don't know that they put Kansas City on the map twice. I didn't know there was a Kansas City, Kansas. So that was kind of my first introduction after leaving the Raiders. And we were with Paul Wiggin initially. Paul Wiggin, and we, look, all the guys had left when Hank left. So you had a shell of the players, like some of the linebackers, like Willie Lanier, Jimmy Lynch, some of the offensive linemen, Matt Herkenhoff, Jack Rudney. So you had a few of the guys that had been a part of that winning team or that time when the team was very good. But by the time I got here, a lot of those guys had left and moved on to different teams. Hank, I would think, went to New Orleans. Some of the other guys followed him. Other guys went in different directions. And so Paul Wiggin was our coach. When I got here, we won the first 6 games. We won 1 game. Paul Wiggin got fired. Tom Bettis took over. He won 1 game. So that was our beginning, 2-14.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I just left college where I was an All-American there. I left a team that had just won the Super Bowl. I joined them afterwards. And now I'm on a team that's supposed to be a professional football team, and they've only won 2 games. And in an 80,000-seat stadium, we had 25 people, or 25,000 people. You could fire a cannon and not hit a soul. Right. So that was, for me, very frustrating. But the fact is, just like these guys are saying, that I had the opportunity to put the uniform on, that in itself was a blessing.
Right.
So I enjoyed that. And my relationship with these 2 guys, especially with Duran, when Duran came in out of Rutgers as a punter, we had, was Bob Grupp our punter at the time? Grupp. And Grupp was a little guy, but he had a leg on him.
Right.
And so they told Duran, I don't know what we're going to do, so you just hang around. Well, he did. He hung out with Henry Marshall. He hung out with Henry Marshall, Walter White, Gary Green, and myself. So we just kind of spent time working out together. And they called him back again, and Gary Barbaro ended up going to the World Football League. Okay. And they asked Duran, would you be willing to change positions? Now, you play that. Did you play that position in college?
Yeah, I played strong safety in college.
You know, he came in, and again, as the expression goes, the rest is history. It was an immediate impact. Was back there with some great guys, And, the course of the time that I was here, we began putting together a good team. Now, I'll say this. We had some great athletes. We didn't have good coaching. And at that time, Jack Stedman was kind of the leader of the pack. We didn't necessarily have him on our side. But we had great guys that knew how to play the game of football. But our coaches they too played with Moses. They were that old.
Right.
So that was my initial experience coming here. But, just like everybody else, I left and went and played elsewhere, went back to California, went back to Minnesota, kind of fell in love with Kansas City and came back here, and I've been here ever since.
Right. Like I said, you guys laid a lot of the foundation and stuff for. I would think that these younger kids, just to see, like I said, what you guys have done in this community. Like I said, with our father starting our season tickets at 65, you guys, we grew up inside that stadium, and I remember the games. I remember the seasons where the Chiefs were 4-12, 3-13. Jamie and I, we could run up and down the end zones. We could run up and down and chase each other and throw the football in the end zones up and down. That's what we would do. And people nowadays, we talk about, we were there when all this tailgating started, all that type of stuff, to what it is now. People are like, what? I'm like, yeah, this is how the tailgating started and when it all started and what it is today.
Interesting you said that. One point that I'd like to make is that if a parent lets their children run around now in the stadium, they'll get in trouble. When our kids were little, they would run up around the stadium, up and down the stairs and a whole deal, and the security would bring them over to our section, which was between 113 and 115, and say, here's your son, here's your daughter, and bring them back over there to us. You do that now, you as a parent are going to get in trouble. Exactly. But there was such a different mentality, and one of the things that I'm very proud of is talking about our ambassadors group. Let me give you just a little bit of history. Hank Stram had told players that if you're here 5 years, you can keep your tickets. Well, some guys bought into that. A lot of guys didn't, so they took the tickets back and tried to resell them. Well, when Carl came here, he asked us if we would help develop something that would be able to go out to the community, bring in fans, and we would be able to maintain that relationship with our tickets that Hank had started. So our dear friend who looks down on us right now, Walter White, said, you know what? We need to start something that we can be kind of that liaison between the team and the community, because the relationship was horrible. And he initially came to me and said, hey, I'm looking at trying to put this thing together. Would you be interested? I said, well, yeah, you're the leader of the pack. I'm in. And we went from 7 guys to the fact that we now have 60 guys. No other team has this. Several teams have tried, and if management isn't involved with it, it doesn't survive. And ours has.
That's the ambassadors group. Right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Tell me more about your ambassador group and what you guys do here in Kansas City, because I know you guys do a lot. There's a lot of stuff you guys do here in Kansas City. Tell us some of the work that the ambassadors do.
Well, we work hand in hand with the Chiefs Community Outreach program, and so they have a lot of requests and they're inundated. They go out as groups on Tuesdays when they can during the season. It's tough, right? There's so much demand, and everybody has a need, and all these needs are good. Yeah. We hold a golf tournament and a gala to raise our funds. The community has supported us for 30 plus years. Those funds we raise, we have a charitable committee. We discuss. We give away over $100,000 every single year.
Wow, that's awesome, guys.
To the kids in Kansas City, to all 501c3s that are deserving of it. I don't know if we've ever turned down a request, have we, Jerome?
No, we haven't. We haven't in the years that I've been there. We haven't turned down a request.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys can count on Love You Real Podcast being a part of helping do some stuff. Anything that we can do to help the Chiefs ambassadors, we would love to get involved and be a part of giving back, because, like I said, we love this city and love everything that you guys do with your ambassador group.
Yeah, it's special, and Walter really drove the thing, and he and Carl Peterson helped put this program together. Like Teddy said, there's no other program in the National Football League like that, where the alumni of the team are in a group. We meet the first Wednesday of every month. All of us collectively.
Yep.
And we get a good turnout, 90% probably of the group. We get together and we discuss our agenda and our timelines and our charitable requests and what we're going to grant, and it's pretty cool. And then we eat some food and have a few drinks and get to hang out and just be us.
And you got to give credit to Lamar Hunt, because Lamar is the one that really kind of was the impetus behind keeping players around in Kansas City and making it like a family atmosphere. So when you think about the ambassadors and then all the alumni that have played for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's like one big family. It truly is. I mean, even today, Bill and I were at the blood drive that the Chiefs held at Arrowhead Stadium, giving blood, and seeing all the people come in, talking to them, people that are donating because there's a blood shortage right now. The other day we were down at Harvesters packing meals for families for Thanksgiving Day, and that's just a little small snippet of what the ambassadors do. And I mean, we're all around this city, guys, from north, south, east, and west. We're trying to make an impact in the community, and it's been a great partnership over the years.
That's awesome. I would hope that some of the younger guys, inside the organization, see what you guys are doing with the ambassador group.
It's pretty cool. We do have some of the younger guys that have really come on board with the ambassadors here recently.
Yep.
With Sylvester Sly, we've got Derek Geeter.
Okay.
He's part of the group now. So it's filtering down, so where the guys are seeing what we're doing, that are staying in town here, that want to be a part of it.
Yep, man, that's something special. Keith, what are some of your favorite moments with some of these three guys up here? What are some of your favorite moments in Arrowhead with Teddy McKnight, Durant Cherry, Bill Maas?
Well, ever since I was a kid, we were in the Wolf Pack, and it was great. I mean, when you'd go out there and they put those temporary stands in, or whatever they were, in the old baseball park, and if the other team came as if it was the Raiders or the Broncos or something, and it snowed. It was like Snowball City, It was like, but I think one of the things I remember most, the game I remembered most, is the game we lost in triple overtime. And I was over at my father-in-law and mother-in-law's house. I was over at Bonnie's mom and dad's house. It was Christmas, wasn't it? Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas game, right?
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, Christmas night though. I think it was. So anyway, we're watching the game on TV. We have dinner. And her dad was a motorcycle cop for Kansas City, Missouri, and so, it's like the third quarter, and we're done with dinner, and Joe says to me, he says, "Hey Keith, let's go down to the game." I went, "What?" And he goes, "Let's go." So we hop in, and he's got this little Renault. They had a couple of Renaults and some other car. And he pulls right up on the corner of the old stadium. I mean, right on the corner. He pulls up, and all the cops are sitting there, and he goes, "Hey, Fitz, how you doing?" His name was Joe Fitzgerald. And, "I'm bringing my son-in-law down. We're going to watch the end of the game." Hell, we almost watched the full game. We got there in the fourth quarter. I think that was one of the most memorable games that I went to.
I love it. Hey, so you guys, what do you think about making Keith's Man Cave one of our meeting places for the ambassadors, huh?
It's pretty neat. Yeah, cool place.
Yeah, it's real good. Thanks for the hospitality.
Go ahead.
You guys have talked a lot about, 1965 season ticket holder, original season ticket holder as well. Everything you've been through. You're talking about the old stadium. What about the stadium?
I was going to ask you guys that. So here's my deal with the stadium, right? So I was at the Royals game, and I was in who's guy that owns it? The guy that owns the Royals, John Sherman. And so John, he married the guy that I worked for, his niece, before I started my own business. And so we were sitting there, and he says, "Keith, what do you think about where should we go? And I said, don't go to North Kansas City and don't go to Kansas. And he goes, I'm a Missouri guy. I want to stay in Missouri. So I don't know what's going to happen. But as far as the Chiefs go, I tell you what, I'll be heartbroken if they leave that spot. I mean, I think there's something they can, if the Royals leave, they can build a new stadium right there. And, I got people tell me, well, now they're looking for, you got to have it, like Green Bay, where they got all the restaurants and all that stuff. I don't know that that'll ever happen, but I love Arrowhead. Yeah. But John Sherman told me, he says that he said, Clark told him, he said, I don't know if we can leave. This is my dad's stadium.
I think we'd all be devastated if they left.
I think there's something to be said about that. I mean, you guys. So my dad's 93 years old right now. Teddy knows my dad. We used to have a Mexican food restaurant back in the day, and I'll tell you guys, Tim Collier, Charles Jackson, those guys used to come to my dad's restaurant back in the day, back in the 70s, late 70s. They used to come to the restaurant. My dad's 93 now, you guys. We're blessed we have my dad around. Like I said, he started our tickets. And just talking to him, you just kind of see that look in his eye of like, man, I'd hate to see Arrowhead go. He had his season tickets at the old Memorial Stadium. And in 72, when he came over, when they built that one, he was on the other side because he said Hank Stram liked the team to sit on that side. When Hank left is when they moved over to the side they're on now. But to see my dad, you guys, and I do a little bit of work, you guys know, my primetime assistance company. I do a little bit of athlete logistics for the players. So I've met, Brett and Coach Reed and stuff. And I told those guys, I want to bring them. There's an album from the 1969 season, and it's got Bill Grigsby on it. And on the front cover of the album is when they won their first Super Bowl, Super Bowl IV. And the album, there's pictures. There's a picture of my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister at the parade. And my dad has on this red hat, this red velvet fedora hat that he bought at Harsfeld's for $15 that he still has. And the only time he wore it was to that Super Bowl parade when they came home.
You buy it at Harsfeld's downtown?
Yes, sir. Yeah. $15, you guys. Still has it in the box. So when you talk to my dad and you talk about people that have really paved the way season ticket wise, guys that never gave up when the team was down or whatever, we now have 8 tickets in Section 120. The nephews and nieces and everybody gets to go now. I think it'd be a shame to see Arrowhead leave where it is today.
One thing I'd like to go back to and talk about is Lamar Hunt. I've heard so many great stories about Lamar. The Bobby Bell story when they snuck him out the window, and Bobby Bell gets here and he thinks he's going to tie in with this multi-millionaire guy, and he gets to the parking lot to get his car out, and Lamar turns to him and says, hey, you got a quarter that we can pay to get my car out of the parking lot because I don't have any money? And then he said, he just thought about it. He goes, here I am. I could have been with another team, and I come here and with this guy who's supposed to be rich, and he's broke. But the cool thing about Lamar is that once you were on the team, he knew your name, he knew your family, he knew your children. When I left the Raiders and came here, I'm standing on the sideline, watching the practice, getting ready to get out there. And he's standing next to me. This guy's rocking back and forth. And he says, Teddy McKnight. I said, yep, that's me. Minnesota Duluth, second round draft pick, Oakland Raiders, now Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome in. I said, well, thank you very much. He walks away, and I turned to a guy and I said, who is that guy? He goes, that's the guy that signs your checks. That's Lamar Hunt. But he knew every player. He knew every player's family. And that's when I talk about the ambassadors group. He was so impressed with the idea of it that he wanted to make sure that it was a go. And they had several of us travel with them. When they would go to different stadiums, we would fly with them. Walter and I had the opportunity of flying when they went to Japan. And what an unbelievable experience what that was. And now I understand Clark is, quite the businessman. But I do believe that place where we are has Lamar's spirit all over it. And I'm just another fan from the outside looking in. If they wanted to do this, they could make it a destination location like the Raiders have done, like the Chargers have done, like I think the Colts, didn't they build a new stadium? Make it a destination location and have people come in. Buffalo Bills, when I was with the Bills, we saw the new stadium that they're building now, and they're still playing in the old stadium, and they're side by side. So that is a possibility that something like that can be done.
Yeah, like Denver. Denver's going on to the third stadium in the same area, the same location.
Wow. So they had Mile High, and then they went to Invesco, whatever, and then the
same location.
Right, same location.
Right next door to each other.
Unbelievable. I think it would be a travesty if they did anything different with the stadium. If they did anything different with the stadium, then do something there with Arrowhead, you guys. I mean, I think you would have fans just kind of disheartened a little bit if we ever lost Arrowhead and the mystique that's inside that stadium.
Yeah, it's an incredible place. I remember we played the Bills. Remember, and
that was
the turning point. That game, that Monday night game, and they came in here, and I think we beat them. I don't know, it was 30, yeah. Right. And that's kind of when Arrowhead got its heartbeat back. Where it was just so alive. I get people to come up to me all the time. They say, I've never been in a stadium that loud in my life, and that had the atmosphere that Arrowhead had that night. Yeah. And you remember that. You remember when people tell you that. You go, where were you? Where were you? If you weren't there, then you missed out. So,
one of my buddies I played with at Rockers, and then he went to Mizzou to play. We both went to Mizzou, but he played there. And I took him. He'd never been to Arrowhead. It was always the old stadium. And he lives in Dallas. And he goes, this is like a college experience. Yeah. He said, this place is crazy. Yeah. It's wonderful. I hope they don't lose that.
I want to give just a quick story. I know that we all have different kind of stories, but when I left the Raiders and came to Kansas City, I did not understand the rivalry. So I left on a Wednesday and played against the Raiders on that Monday night football game. So when they get to the stadium, I knew all the guys. I went over and said hello to them and gave them hugs and talked to them and the whole deal. And then when I got to the locker room, the guys looked at me like I'd lost my mind. And they said,
the hell you doing, Teddy?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The hell you doing?
2 bricks short of a load anyway. So I said, what? They said, do you not know that we hate the Raiders? We have this giant rivalry with them. I said, well, I just left them. They said, well, you better find the hate button quick. So I went back out there and I ran over to the sideline and I looked at them and I yelled at them and I said, hey, guys, all your sisters are in the locker room and they all have mattresses on their back. They looked at me and one of the guys walked up to me and said, McKnight, if you ever say that again, I swear to God, I'll kill you on national television. That's when I realized, okay, those days of going over and saying hi to the fellas, those days are over.
Those days are over with. Hey guys, listen, I can't thank all you guys enough for coming on our set and being a part of our show tonight. I want to raise a few toasts because I want to raise a toast to our sponsor, Jay Rieger. I want to raise a toast to Keith Collin for hosting this. Yes. And listen, I want to raise a toast to all of our friends and family that are here, to Bill Maas and being inducted and enshrined into the Hall in Kansas City. Billy, congratulations, brother. We did this show for you tonight. Duran, thank you for being here tonight. Teddy, thank you for being here. Keith, thank you for being such a gracious host. But let's raise a glass, raise them up to all those, and just say thank you to you guys. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you. Love you, bros.
Man. Love you, bro. Love you guys. Duran got some merch for you. Teddy will get some merch for you. Billy, we got you. Jay Rieger, again, thank you so much for being our sponsor with the bourbon, the drinks, and cigars. And Keith, we can't thank you enough for all the hospitality tonight.
Yep, it was great. I love it. That's great.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for Love You, Bro. I think my bro probably disappeared. My other half and host did his Irish goodbye. But you guys, thank you again so much. One more thing, you guys, I wanted to kind of bring out tonight. This is our 55th episode of doing this. Jamie and I started this because of my wife back in May of 24. Just a couple of Kansas City guys that born and raised, love sports. We love talking Kansas City. We love talking sports. We just went over the 13 million mark on our social media. Thanks to our production company. Thanks to Quinn, our social media guy. But we just went over 13 million on views on our reels through 55 episodes.
Great job.
Thank you, man.
Great job.
We're excited about that. We're excited about that and what it holds. But listen, Duran, I know we're going to bring you on for another show here a little bit later in the season. You guys, thank you so much. Bill, congratulations, brother.
Thank you, man.
Love you, bro. Okay. Thank you, man. You guys, thank you so much for being on set tonight. Keith, we got some more drinking and cigars, some more drinking to do. From Love You, Bro, we're out. We'll see you guys on episode 56.